Between the shores of Lake Superior and Hudson Bay lies a place of intense, rugged beauty. A place where wildlife roam free and unencumbered by highways and human development. A place of ancient boreal forests carpeted in green mosses over a foot deep in places. A place where thousands of hectares of burnt forest are being replaced by fresh, new growth. A natural process of renewal going back to the beginning of time. For paddlers, this place offers a sense of belonging, peace, serenity, and endless opportunities for adventure. This place is...
Hey, sorry I'm late. Did you tell them what we did? Did you tell them where we went?
Yeah, I was kind of just doing that.
This place is Wabakimi.
This was our first ever float plane trip.
The flight was delayed due to poor visibility and weather conditions, and our expert pilot Brent had to keep us low to stay below the cloud cover.
I definitely didn't pack for this weather.
But our excitement couldn't be contained. Before we even landed, we knew that this trip would be life-changing.
I was looking down and seeing some of that wind and then the sheeting snow, and I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. What did we get ourselves into? Hello, campers.
Hi, friends.
We're here on Dawn Lake in the north end of Wabakimi Provincial Park. It is about freezing or so, and we've got some heavy winds, 40 to 50 kilometer an hour gusts and 30 kilometer an hour winds. So it is chilly today.
Yes, cold.
And now we've got to paddle a few kilometers to get to our first portage, where we're hoping that the water level isn't so high that we have to get our feet wet, because a day like today, getting your feet wet would be bad news.
Cold. But we're super excited for this trip, and so far it has not disappointed.
So we're in Slim Creek in really high water, so we're hoping to be able to bypass a little bit of portaging. So we're tapping out. It's impassable. Regardless of water level, there's just too much blowdown.
That is a bear print, back foot, definitely.
Oh, shoot.
Well, that didn't work.
That did not work out, eh?
Probably scared the bear away.
A pleasure to do this portage. It's so gorgeous, just beautiful, eerily silent in here amongst all this thick moss. We're gonna have to try to remind ourselves not to skip a portage. You kind of do whatever you can to keep your feet dry on day one of an early spring trip. Up until yesterday, there was actually a fire ban in this area because of the dryness that's been and the heat. And that is no longer valid. It is actually snowing now, but it's still very windy. So we've got to be very careful with our fire, which is sometimes difficult with a softwood fire, but we're just going to try our best to keep it relatively tame tonight.
Doesn't look like much, but flavor.
Oh! What the hell?
What are you doing?
I'm just falling apart, lover. So this is well earned.
Yeah.
Porchetta, rehydrated.
So good.
And mashed potatoes with
Cheddar cheese.
a big clump of cheese.
It'll keep us warm tonight.
I hope so. Something's gotta. So Sharon and I were saying that this is the farthest north we've ever been in Ontario.
Yep.
Dawn was saying that no outfitter or outpost cabin has anyone at it yet. Today is Saturday, and the ice went out on Tuesday in this whole area. It's the third Saturday in May right now, and so it's the opening day for walleye. No one's within. We just got out of a float plane after a 100-kilometer flight, so that's about how far we are from any other humans right now. So this is remote, and we're loving it.
Might as well get the bad weather on the first day.
Yeah.
The weather was a lot different than we were expecting today, so it was quite cold, quite windy, but at least it was at our back.
Yeah, the wind was at our back, but 40-kilometer-an-hour winds is still 40-kilometer-an-hour winds, especially when it's pushing snow at you here in early spring. It's just about 9:30 now, and we're hoping to get some rest tonight, up relatively early, and hopefully we see some sunshine tomorrow.
Ooh, good morning, friends. It is cold. We slept in, I think, because it was so cold we didn't want to get out of our sleeping bags. Jay is up and making a fire, so... Ooh. Ooh, breakfast.
Good morning, campers. Good frigid morning.
We got snow.
But this is what you get when you're early spring camping in the Boreal forest. But here we are with our coffee. We have
coffee.
a helping of Sherry's world famous quinoa porridge for breakfast this morning. And we're just discussing routes. Our plan initially was to come down out of Dawn Lake into the Slim River, and then over through the Palisade River into Kenoji Lake, and then through Oliver Lake into the Berg River, into Whitewater Lake. But our outfitter, Don, had mentioned to us on a couple of different occasions, a couple of areas to watch out for in terms of high water. He said when you go out of Kanoji into Oliver Lake, he said we lose a lot of boats there. So you want to be really, really careful there, and there's no real portage around. And so that made us, okay,
Don't want to hear that.
piqued our interest. So, and then when we were flying over yesterday, we saw some of that whitewater, and it put the fear of God into us. So now we're thinking about rerouting and going down the Slim into Scrag Lake, up through Arrow Lake and Grayson, and then into the sort of northwest end of Whitewater Lake as a contingency. And we'd always had that as a contingency. We packed maps just in case we wanted to do that. And every direction that we go in is going to be beautiful and full of magic and historical pathways. The remoteness is awesome, but also it just makes us that much more cautious.
Cheers.
The smoke is just killing me. In vast, wild spaces like this, the natural course of forest fires are often allowed to run without human intervention.
In places, thousands of hectares of forest have been burnt, turning the landscape into what seems like a wasteland.
But life persists. Though human negligence is sometimes the cause of such devastation, it is a natural cycle of the boreal forest to burn and regenerate.
That said, the human impact on our environment has increased the frequency and severity of wildfires in North America. That's a problem.
No, we're good. Yeah, like in lower water that would be a portage, but yippity-doo-dah. So we're just coming on to Kanoji Lake proper, and the south side of the lake looks to have been hit by that same burn, but the north side may have been spared. Hopefully the island we're looking at has also been spared. It's far enough offshore that it should be. Hopefully you can hear us okay. The wind is still howling. We've found this beautiful site blocking the, for the most part, the eastward coming wind on Kanoji Lake. It's an island site. It's just gorgeous. So we've just been hanging out this afternoon.
Yeah, we have time. We landed early and set up camp
enjoyed a little bit of the sunshine on our face, check the maps, trying to decide where we're going to stop next, or yeah, we're just enjoying our vacation.
We leave some things to the grace of the forest when we go on trips as much as we can, and we've got, I think, most of Wabakimi wilderness to ourselves, so it'd be a shame to not take a little bit advantage of that.
Absolutely.
So yesterday we were flown into Dawn Lake, and then we paddled down Dawn Lake and did some portaging and ended up just around here halfway down Slim River, camped in a snowstorm, which was fun. And then today we came down through here through Slim River, and we had the choice. We were going to come into Scrag Lake and then up through Errol and Grayson and into Whitewater Lake that way in order to avoid some of the whitewater that we're going to find here tomorrow. But we decided against it, and we just kept going through Slim Lake, down through the Palisade River. We are about here on Kanoji Lake now, and tomorrow we're going to be flying through here, a bunch of rapids, nice whitewater, and then through here into the Berg River, and then up into Whitewater Lake. To have some lasagna for dinner.
Smells yummy.
Cheers, baby. That cozy just does it perfect. Good morning, campers.
Morning.
It is a frosty morning here. As you can see, most things outdoors were covered in frost when we woke up. Last night I think it got down to about -4. Whereas 2 nights ago in the snowstorm, it got down to probably about -7 or 8. So it's warming up.
Yeah, clear skies means sunscreen for us today.
So today's breakfast, Cher's got this new recipe called what?
Sunrise ramen. We have not tried this yet, so kind of excited.
All right, so we're here at the first portage, and it doesn't look like there's much of a trail here. So we're just going to take it easy. We're going to pack everything and do the dry sacks and go from there. So we obviously see that big boulder. So there's one right there. All right, so this next set is bouldery. It's a bit loud, but if we pick the right line, I think we should get through unscathed. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we were kind of doing there last year, right? Yeah, we don't need to be a part of that big wave train up there. Yeah, that wind is chilly. Keep an eye out for boulders, dude. So I think we want to hang left, kind of after this a little bit. See that big boulder in the middle? Let's stay left of that. We're good. Okay, yeah, so we'll just try to stay left of the big waves so we don't get soaking wet, babe. So we found a campsite. We're down at the end of Oliver Lake, and we just got tired of fighting this headwind that kept gusting up on us. We decided to just give our shoulders a rest. It's only about 3 o'clock, so we only traveled for about 5 hours today, but I think considering all the headwinds that we had, we made quite good time, quite good progress. What do you think, Cher?
Yeah, it's not even the wind, it's how cold it is. It like freezes your fingers, so it makes it tough to paddle, and it makes your legs quite stiff in the canoe. So I'm happy to stop, have some warmth on our bodies, and just take a break.
just incredible back here behind the campsite. This wide open boreal with this beautiful carpet of green moss over everything. Now I'm going to try to stick to well-trodden paths back here, and it's just covered in just beautiful fallen dead wood, mostly jack pine, which is great for softwood fires. There's one such piece right here in front of me. I'm going to just take this whole thing. I'm not even cutting it here. I'll cut it at the campsite. Tonight we're having risotto with teriyaki beef jerky made at home. I'm going to cold soak it. I think she's ready to go, baby. Okay. Oh. Whew. That's good. Mm-hmm. The sweet of the teriyaki mixed with the salty of the risotto. Little orange tea for dessert. At the end of day 3, we've got just the perfect campsite here.
Yeah, we found a really nice spot to have a lounging day.
Yeah.
In the sun, and it's shaded from the wind, which is nice.
It's got this beautiful terrace overlooking this end of Oliver Lake. The back behind is like Narnia with this beautiful moss, but it's all wide open jack pine stand.
I mean, it was nice to get back on and do some rapids and swifts for the first paddle of the year, but to see the moose at the end of that whitewater was fun. Makes you stop, pay attention.
We know that the area that we were in has probably been burned maybe 15 years ago. It's all just jack pine, and they seem to be, I don't know, I don't age jack pine very well, but like between 10 and 15 years old. And in that area you kind of expect to see moose, which we did. We don't expect to see caribou in there, but we're out of the fire zones now and into the older growth forest again, so caribou search back on.
We have our eyes looking.
We're looking closely, and there is a part of Friends of Wabakimi, and they have a 3-year, I believe, caribou project running, and I believe this is year 2 of 3, where they are sending out parties, several parties a year, actively searching out calving sites and lay down spots and basically any evidence and sign of caribou, or obviously caribou themselves, and marking them and doing a very fastidious effort of tracking the population and the signs thereof. So though we're not part of that officially by any means, we are tracking any sign that we've seen, which we've seen some sign, we've seen some scat, and we've seen some prints of caribou earlier on. Yeah. And so we're tracking that via iNaturalist, and we're going to share that with the group just so that it all kind of goes in, and it's just a common effort to help conserve a very, very special species in this area, the Boreal or woodland caribou, that are just being obviously shrunk in their habitat size. They thrive, and their main food source are lichen and mosses, which take tens of years, 100 years to grow. So new growth forest, after a forest fire, they can't survive there very well. So they move off into these pockets of old growth forest. Check out the caribou project. Conservation of that sort is of the utmost importance, even in a place so remote and wild as this. Mm-hmm.
Diligently we hang the food bag.
I have a bit of a frosty bag this morning. What? Talking about my Ostrom bag. Morning of day 4, and the wind is already howling out of the east. So we knew we had to face this wind again another day, so we're just gonna have to put our head down and just paddle our hearts out.
Yeah, even the birds are very timid around here. We haven't seen a lot of them. They come out at night, a couple of them fly around, and I don't know if it's too cold for them or
Yeah, I don't know, or too
they're
windy.
just different birds up here.
But yeah, there's less songbirds these days.
Day 4.
Hard paddling day.
Hey friends! So here we are at our first portage, and we're grateful for it, that's for sure. Yeah, that's quite a little drop there, and we are not running that this morning. My toes are still cold.
Thank goodness for old blazes. This being a wilderness park, nothing is marked. There's no signs saying portage here, campsite here. So you're looking for basically signs of a trail or a blaze on a tree. Which there's an old blaze here, so we found our spot.
We're safe.
So far.
We found a blaze, but we've yet to really find a trail. So it's pretty overgrown in here.
Almost there.
Wow. That's what it looks like, folks. Found a penny on the trail. I feel like that's supposed to be good luck. So I had to come back for the fishing pole. So I'm just going to take you on a tour back. I'm so glad we packed a fishing pole. On the bright side, I'm not cold anymore. Chaga. So it looks like we're going back to run the first rapid, and then we'll pull out before that bottom rapid.
Okay, baby. Like I said, when we get to the top, we want to be right. And then the river's going to take us all the way across.
Big rocks.
After we hit this first ledge. Right, 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 right. Left, sorry, left. Okay, hold on, stay here, stay straight, and then we'll bear left. Yeah. Keep paddling hard. Keep paddling hard. And we're gonna kind of go to the right at this bottom. Perfect. Perfect. Now paddle through this. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Nice job. Nice job, Lever. Nice. Woo, buddy. Yeah.
We entered Whitewater Lake to high winds and big waves. It was a battle, us against 30-kilometer steady winds for miles on end.
End of our little sneak route adventure. The last thing we have to do is navigate this. It's a 285 meter port. We're both completely done, exhausted of the day. This is the quintessential Wabakimi portage. You can tell that it's used way more by animals than humans, which means it's super narrow and very deep in the places where it's moss covered and stuff. And there's tons of blowdown, which is also indicative of many Wabakimi portages. All right, so we finally made it. We found a campsite. It's 8:45 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a long day. We thought we would be traveling for 10 hours. It was more like 11. And that's okay. We're here. We've got a beautiful site, and we'll catch you up on the details later, but Cher's going to get camp made. I'm going to get a fire made, and we're going to have some chili and cafe mocha and watch the sunset.
And we have a story for you.
So friends, it's 9:30 p.m. The sun is just setting over beautiful and tempestuous Whitewater Lake. Boy, did we ever have a day.
Oof, yeah. Ups and downs today.
Figurative and literal. For
Yeah.
sure. You were riding those
Oh
waves.
yeah, there were some swells out there.
There was 3-foot swells at times. You'd be paddling against this eastward wind that came from every direction, and then as soon as you crossed an open bay, the waves would come in from that, and that was the dangerous part, where we were not worried. If we were worried about swamping, we would have landed, but it was getting a bit dicey there for sure for a minute. But what did we go through today, Cher? What were our highlights today?
So we did some a bigger whitewater today. So much water moving so fast. It was amazing. Yeah, and we had been told by friends not to run that, and I was not running that. Let's be honest.
I was not running that either, friends.
But then we headed out
Onto
Whitewater Lake, and oh my gosh, it was just a matter of getting from one bay to the next. And we did it. And we were paddling at one point against some headwinds and looking for the river that we needed to deep down to get off the lake. And I turned to my right and saw a caribou swimming. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's we're pretty emotional about it because we worked so hard today, and it was just magical. We weren't expecting it. Our heads were completely somewhere else.
Yeah, and we couldn't really film it because
We were fighting
couldn't
waves.
Stop paddling. So
I think Cher just got
I might have got a little
glimpse.
bit of footage, but wow, was that breathtaking.
just makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And so onward we paddled.
We didn't pursue it. We just left that magical moment, and then we kept going. And the next thing we were doing was trying to find a sneak route out of this crazy, insane headwind. So we did on one of the Friends of Wabakimi maps that we bought from Friends of Wabakimi. There's a little route that takes you off the main big lake and in through a couple of smaller inlets and ponds. It allowed us to do a little bit of portaging. It allowed us to do
Rock hopping.
some rock hopping and just a little bit of variety.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration. Keep you on your toes.
Oh my gosh. But then it all culminated in this absolutely out of nowhere. We thought we were just hopping from swamp to swamp or, pond to pond. Mm-hmm. And then this last lake before Bob's Bay, we get in. It turns out it's called Rainbow Lake, but we didn't see that until after. This beautiful plunging cliff shows itself at the golden hour across from the setting sun. And we just
Yeah, it calmed us right down. It was just so peaceful. The water was calm. We just paddled through and in amazement at the beauty.
Yeah, we are so lucky.
But wow, what a day. What a day we had.
What a day, baby. Way to go. So we're at the site of what was thought to be, at least by one man, the center of the universe. The site of Wendell Beckwith's old cabins and site of many experiments. You can look it up online. We're not super well versed in what it was he was studying out here, but we've seen lots about this, and we've seen some friends come here over the years, and we actually have a friend who used to visit Wendell while he was alive and living here in the 1970s, when our friend Nancy used to work for the ministry and come in and explore the area while making it a park. This is before it was a provincial park. She used to come in and visit Wendell, and apparently he had a sweet tooth, so he liked if they would fly in and bring him some chocolates or candies and even ice cream on occasion. So it's kind of neat just being here, and we've got beautiful weather for it.
Definitely feels like the center of the universe.
Right now it does.
Yep.
Wendell Beckwith believed this spot to be the center of the universe.
We're unsure of the calculation, but we've heard that it has to do with its alignment with the Great Pyramids of Giza and Stonehenge.
It's so quiet.
I believe he was quoted as saying, "I'm not interested in what is known. I'm interested in what is unknown."
Yeah, so we're just taking some time to drink it all in, and
Great way to start our day.
that's it. Okay, so we decided against looking for a way to find a trail in that other side. That new burn is just, I don't think it's been redone since that burn.
No, lots of moose poop, no trail.
Yeah, we'd be following a moose trail. That's okay for if you're on foot, but carrying...
Not with a canoe, no.
Doesn't make sense. So there was another option on the east side. It's got two separate ports saying very rough, but we will take very rough over no portage at all. Yeah. Bushwhacking through new growth.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Here we go.
So we stopped for lunch on McKinley Lake, and we actually just ran into our first party of the trip on day 5. It was a couple fellows from Florida. They had actually stayed the night at the same outfitters that we did at Mattice Lake and arrived Sunday, and they'd heard about a couple of crazy folks who'd flown into Dawn Lake to spend the wintry night up there. They were nice fellows. We had a bit of a chat, and then we just stopped for lunch. So we're really dragging today. We have a goal in mind and quite a bit of work left to do to get to that, and it's almost 4 p.m. So we're going to finish a little bit later today, but I don't remember. Do we have anything else planned?
No, we're good.
So we're just finishing up, just going back for the canoe on one of our last. I think we have 3 really short portages left, but we're just about into Laurent Lake, and it's again like almost all other portages, really well maintained, easy to get through, almost like a pleasure to do. Really, it's a pleasure to walk on it on the way back for the canoe. I'll say that.
Oh, hey.
Fancy meeting you here. You come here often?
No, but wow, we should. This is beautiful.
Pretty, eh? Fishing the outflow, looking for lunker walleyes.
Lunker walleyes.
Lunkers, buddy. Brought to you by Rapala. Rescue kit.
Oh dear.
So friends, we've scratched out a campsite here on Lone Breast Bay. One Titty Bay, Cheryl wants to call it.
Good thing this isn't live.
we can cut that.
Do you think?
One Titty Bay.
You're starting to go crazy. It's only day 5.
So we're here on a campsite that we just scratched out in Lone Breast Bay of Smooth Rock Lake. And man, what a day that was. Started off pretty chill.
Yeah. We putted around, camp, headed off, visited some pretty cool sites, and then had a tailwind most of the day today, which was lovely, portaged. Yeah. Then the tailwinds got a little crazy.
Yeah, so we had tailwinds for the most part, as Cheryl was saying, which is great. But at some point, the tailwinds stop becoming helpful, and then they start becoming pushy, like a salesman that just doesn't know when to quit. Like Jim Carrey in The Cable Guy. You can picture that. It gets a little bit scary and overwhelming. And so that was the tailwinds that we had today on the last few lakes. the big ones. This one especially, like we barely made it into this little island site.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. It's amazing to see. The scenery is so different from back home, and the large stands of trees, and then the large areas where burns have happened. It's just incredible to see the contrast.
So we're just getting ready for bed, and the last thing we had to do was just have breakfast for dessert.
Oh, look, I look like a raccoon.
Yeah, we've gotten some sun. Don't worry, the sun won't be here for a few days. But may we suggest the Happy Yak apple and cinnamon granola.
It's yummy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's, I think, a breakfast food, but we're having it for dessert. For the win. For bedtime. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, my glasses. Morning.
Good morning, campers. Morning of day 6.
Day 6. Wow.
I slept really well last night. Cher, what about you?
Oh yeah, I was out cold. I was tired.
We didn't actually make a move until about 4 a.m. And we were in bed by about 10.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Pretty good sleeping for backcountry for us.
Yeah.
Today, our day looks a little easier, or let's say a little less work than usual. So we don't have any portages planned. It's just a day of paddling down smooth, like different portions of Smooth Rock Lake, which is now Lone Breast Bay, and we're going to head sort of southwest into the main portion of Smooth Rock, and then from there southeast toward Caribou Bay and Funger Lake. With the winds of Wabakimi about to guide us along, we are so lucky and happy to be here, friends.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing place.
So we've been traveling for about 90 minutes now, and we've gone a fair distance because we've had, for the most part, the help of this wind that, as is the norm, has just been picking up throughout the day. It started as a crosswind coming in from the north while we were headed west, but then as we've gradually sort of moved toward the south, it's become a tailwind, but it's just picking up steam. So as we're paddling, we have 18-inch breaking waves breaking right beside the canoe, threatening our gunnels a little bit. So I'm always paddling a few strokes and then looking back just to see what's coming, because sometimes that wind picks up and it gets real hectic. It starts to want to throw us around.
I'm pretty grateful that we have the Novacraft with us. I feel a little bit more confident. It has higher gunnels. Yeah, just keep paddling. It's a long lake.
This is a big lake. Yeah, we've probably gone like 7 or 8 kilometers, and we're still not even out of this one bay. You don't often see a jack pine that size, but that size canopy, that's amazing. amazing. We're onto the big portion of Smooth Rock Lake now. I think the rain has let up for now. We're about to round a 90-degree corner and head kind of northeast, which is exactly the direction that the wind's been coming from. So we might be fighting a headwind, but we will know as soon as we round this corner. I can see that it's coming down, but yeah, a little bit of work today. We'll keep the cool, keep the chill away, I think.
So we were paddling across to this island, and all of a sudden the headwinds just started pushing us backwards, and I got to a point where I didn't think I could paddle anymore. I couldn't paddle it strong enough, and so I just started counting my strokes to see how many I could do past that point that I thought I couldn't do. So, but we made it safely to the island. Yeah, this is home for the night, I think, and it has birds. Yay!
And sometimes, oftentimes, you don't have dry birch bark in the Boreal. There's these lichens, sometimes you call the longer versions old man's beard, but this lights up like the dickens, just with one strike of your lighter. And that'll start a fire just about any time. It's a bit wet out here, actually. Took more than one strike of a lighter. It's a little bit wet. We got some rain today already, but this is why this is not a bushcraft channel.
Just like Bob used to make.
Just like Mom used to make.
Lipton cup of soup.
We are not sponsored yet. Lipton people, if you're out there looking for some fresh young faces to shill your brand, this is good in the same way that instant coffee is good in the morning in the backcountry.
Yeah.
Everything is good in the backcountry.
Yeah.
So I'm just cutting through this old jack pine, as you do, and I cut through a section, and this is what almost like perfect sort of 5-pronged, 6-pronged flowers in it. And I believe it's from where little limbs were all growing out of the younger tree all at once in its infancy. That's really, really cool. Have you guys seen that before? See that right beside your thumb?
Oh, right there. Good eye.
So one of the worst things to find out in the middle of the night is that your well, it is.
It's my pillow.
Is that your pillow is not holding air anymore. So poor Cher woke up a couple of times last night, but I actually brought 2 pillows because I like to live in luxury. I'm a bit of a princess in the pea. But anyway, so we found it. So we've got the implements that I believe will be able to patch that up.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then I can go back to 2 pillows tonight because OMG, sleeping on one pillow like a peasant, that was difficult, as you can imagine, friends.
It is one of my favorite luxury items. Fingers crossed, people.
So those of you who, like me, have seen Sherry with a knife in the kitchen might have gotten as nervous as I was when I saw the technique she was using to cut that, but unscathed. If I put my head on a pillow tonight and it's leaking, it's her pillow, and we do a switch. Mocha chocolate da da. We're having a cafe mocha to wind the afternoon down. Cher's been reading, I've been fishing a little bit. But yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about Phil Cotton and Friends of Wabakimi, their what they called the Wabakimi Project. They would come up to the Wabakimi area, which isn't just the provincial park, but the broader area, and they would map out and document and restore historical portages. They didn't make new portages, they didn't create portages or canoe routes where there weren't any. What they did was they just went and found...
They found evidence of the historical routes.
Whether they be indigenous or could be mining activity or trapping. Folks back in hundreds of years ago had built these trails, and these trails are usually along animal trails, obviously. For all the faults of the bureaucracy in Canada, one thing that's cool is you're not allowed to develop a place if it interrupts a navigable waterway or a canoe route. But a lot of these canoe routes don't exist inside the park, and that's important for them to have created those outside the park where there is still development, there is still logging, there is still road building. So they wanted to make sure they documented and had these routes and portages set down and known and used. Super importantly, people should be using them as much as we can, obviously respectfully. Leave no trace, or better yet, leave it better than you found it.
And it just highlights the importance of using these routes and visiting the park, visiting the trails and paddling the waters. It's beautiful here. It's beautiful. I can't imagine it not being here. So we're pretty blessed to have it.
Often people equate conservation with no humans. Humans are separate from nature, where we are apart from it, and it exists outside of us, and that's just not true. It's not that we're separate from it. We have to be able to exist inside that ecosystem and just do it in the right way, right? So visiting these routes, people going there isn't the problem. It's people going there and not doing it right, or
not respecting
respectfully.
I think they get it.
Okay.
You got it?
You got it, people. So I can't see anymore.
Plan a trip. Come visit Wabakimi.
If we don't use it, we'll lose it. Let's not lose this. But when you come here, don't be a dork.
Oh, he's huge.
Hi, little buddy.
Oh, he's cute. Okay, let him go. Morning, friends. It's day 7. We're trying to get back on the water earlier than we have been to beat some wind and make some kilometers down the river. But I'm just packing up the tent, and I have coffee in the tent. Jay is a sweetheart.
Packing up can be such a chore.
Yeah, but we're going to have to be maybe I'll be over here. Don't smile. Yeah. We just did our first little section of the Caribou River that we're going upstream toward Caribou Lake. We've got a few little hop, skip, and jump portages here to do over some beautiful little rapids. And then we're going to be into the river proper and traveling toward our destination for today. It's been a beautiful day so far. A little bit of wind. That wind is coming from the north, so it is chilly.
Yeah, it's been a quiet, peaceful paddle this morning so far, and the sun is coming out for us, which is a nice surprise, pleasant surprise.
Oops.
Smooth as silk. We've done our final portage of the day over these beautiful little falls that keep showing up on the Caribou River. And we're about to enter Caribou Lake proper.
No portages left, we're just looking for a campsite now.
Basically, we're just kind of going to be picky and choosy with where we stay tonight, but we still haven't had lunch, so we're going to stop at the next couple of campsites to see if we want to have lunch there, and then maybe more.
Yeah, good plan.
So we've stopped for lunch. It's about 2:15, and the weather really took a turn. It just got really cold. We got rained on a little bit, and then it just got really cold and windy.
And Wabakimi.
Go figure. So we're checking out a couple of campsites just on the north end, sort of as you come into Caribou Lake, and they're not great. So we're going to keep looking.
Yeah, they're pretty open to the wind.
The tent pads and the fire spots are both just open to the wind, and the wind is what's sort of making our day less awesome right now. So we're gonna go see what we can find down on the lake proper. What are you having, Cher?
I'm having tuna and crackers.
Tuna and crackers.
Lots of protein.
There you go. I'm having cheese and salami and crackers, if you cared to know. All right, we'll see you in a bit. go, Chubba. Here we go. I wasn't filming in order to laugh at you. It just happened. We're here at camp number 7 on Caribou Lake. So we're just getting some dinner going. We have green Thai chicken curry with rice, rehydrating, which is exciting for us. We stopped at a few sites along the way, none that were really great because everything's kind of facing north. Which is where the wind is coming from, and that's a bummer. So we found this spot, also a little bit open right here, but Cher scratched out a beautiful little tent pad back in the shelter, and she also grabbed this canoe, which you'll have seen her do successfully, and actually put up quite the windbreak so that we could have a nice little fire and make dinner. But this is a beautiful little peninsula on this little island that we're on.
It's cozy.
I'm getting a picture of it right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Cast the lure right off my... Ay. Okay, well, I'll go get it. Good morning, pals.
Morning. Day 8. Wow.
So it took over a week, but at about 7 p.m. last night, the wind finally broke, and it's a calm day on the water today. It's a bit chilly, but it's warmer than usual because it's not blistering winds.
It's amazing, actually, to stand and watch and look around.
And hear the loons.
Yeah, lots of songbirds here, so really peaceful here.
Super beautiful. Caribou Lake is an absolute gem. It's just dotted with tens, maybe hundreds of islands all over the place. It's big water, but the islands make it feel cozy. We don't really have much of an agenda today.
No, we're just traveling through.
Travel through and really enjoy our last day in this magical, wonderful place.
Okay guys, this is our last portage of our trip. It's a little bittersweet. Man. Last portage of the trip.
So we're paddling down toward the takeout, and we're just a couple hundred meters south of the put-in at Caribou, and we saw this little box. It almost looks like a marten trap or a mink trap in the tree, and it looks like it says license. It's old, tattered, and it's upside down. That's a little bit creepy. But then we started hearing wind chimes, or not even chimes. They weren't clanging. It was almost like a flute. So when wind was going through it, it would produce a note, and it sounded like a G chord. Mm-hmm. Weird. We couldn't find what was making that noise. If you guys know anything about that, let us know. It's a bit of a mystery to us, and almost a creepy mystery, but that's okay. Some things are better left unknown, maybe. So we solved the mystery. We started hearing it again, and then this time it threw in like a dominant seventh on the chord. And we were like, what is going on? Someone's messing with us. Turns out it's the hollow ends of my fishing rod. I don't know if you can hear the pitch changing, but it's just when the wind picks up, it goes across the top like a flute, across the top of these hollow ends of the... Anyway, that was weird and a little bit creepy, but we've solved the mystery. Campers, so we found our final campsite for the trip, day 8, and we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from our takeout at the end of Little Caribou Lake. For the last 90 minutes or so. Kind of forced us into the tent, but we want to have some dinner. So we are going to start a fire here. Probably a wet, smoky fire, but it's a fire nonetheless. So that we can cook up our last supper. Ooh, how final does that sound?
The Last Supper?
Yeah. Sounds biblical, of biblical proportions.
Hi.
We're having our last supper. It's chili with rice and
cheese.
What was that? Cheese. We are starting to go a little bit crazy here in the backcountry, friends.
And we just had hot chocolate, so.
Hot chocolate and coffee. So we're a little bit wired.
We are down to 2 Starbucks coffees, instant, and 1 package of almonds for tomorrow. So I think I rationed quite well on this trip. I did not bring extra.
That's good. But we're only about 2 kilometers away from the takeout.
Yeah.
And we've heard back from our outfitter, Dawn and Annette, but they're going to come and pick us up about 2 kilometers south of here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So hopefully nothing happens to them, because if we're relying on my fishing to catch us food, we're going to be in some trouble.
You caught 2 fish. 3 fish.
I landed 3 fish. Caught 6, landed 3.
Yeah. I think they even just shuttle people to the trains and such.
They're very highly knowledgeable of the area. They've been doing this for over 40 years. They've run the lodge and the outfitter out of that spot. And they used to own a bunch of the outpost cabins that are on some of these lakes, outpost lodges, and they used to have their own fleet of beavers and otter planes. But they've been sort of downsizing. Just a great family. Definitely check out Mattice Lake Outfitters.
Oh,
Handsome.
his eyes are so white. He did not appreciate you. Day 9.
Good morning, campers.
Morning.
So we're up early today to get packed up. We are blessed with partly sunny skies and crisp weather.
Ooh, the water's calm.
The water is calm. And it's time for us to head out of the boreal forest and back to real life for... Actually, this is real life. That's not really well said.
Say it better.
It's time for us to head out of the boreal forest and into daily life that we've built for ourselves, which is also beautiful, and in anticipation for me on getting back to the boreal forest. I just loved it here.
Yeah, it was lovely. Still is.
Still is lovely. It's going to continue being lovely without us, but we hope you've enjoyed the adventure. For us, it's been the adventure of a lifetime.
This is how we camp.
The sheer beauty and vastness of this wilderness paradise is undeniable.
But it's not boundless, and it's not guaranteed. These forests and waterways are worth infinitely more than just the timber and minerals we could extract from it.
We all need to help protect this treasure for generations to come. Consider joining the community, or doing whatever you can to push back on any legislation that may allow for places like this to slip away to development and extraction.
This isn't something separate from us. It's a part of us all.